I like to be free, you know, I don't want to specialize. I'm interested more in following my ideas, my dreams, and where they lead, you know. Visions, you know. Yes, I do have visions. From very early on, I mean, I started off as a painter, decided I didn't really know how to draw, then drew a lot with ink, pen and ink, and a lot of those drawings will be in this exhibition. And then at a certain point, I felt that that was it. I couldn't do any more drawings like that. And so I started investigating materials and started burning plastic and just experimenting with materials to see what they did and how they reacted. This is just a stone, a sea stone from the beach, actually from Cornwall. And then these are optical glass prisms. And the idea of combining them came to me in the late 70s because I wanted to see how I could combine science, technology, and nature and see if I could make something where I combined those two elements and made something completely natural, if you like, something real, as if it had grown out of the sea. When I'm trying to put together different media, it's much slower because you have to try to understand how they will go together. More than aesthetic, from a sort of inner quality and a kind of naturalness, but also technically, how are you going to put them together? You know? And sometimes it's very difficult. When I put the balls, just to see what would happen, and put the balls on top of the disc, it was like a miracle because I saw the reflections that were in the disc inside the balls, magnified. So it was like a moving magnifying glass. That's the way I saw it when I first saw this liquid reflections happened. Because basically it happened. I mean, I had made one thing and then added another thing, and suddenly it gave me a result I could not have dreamed of. It was so fantastic. So that it becomes a very cosmic phenomena because you're working with the force of spin, centrifugal force, and gravity. In Zen Buddhism, young monks were given koans, which they were basically puzzles or problems that they had to solve. They had to meditate on it. They were aids to meditation. I think that's the best way of putting it, koan. You just think about how to solve this problem, and there was no solution to the problem. So in a sense, that's why I call these koans, because I thought of them as paradoxical. Because when you look at them, you see these lines moving inside the cone. They're moving through the cone. Because you don't actually physically take into account that the cone is turning. I was working with prisms. I thought of the prisms as heads, and so in that sense, I created figures, but they were not figures, they were not human figures. They were part. They were, if you like, kind of metaphors. When I made The Lady of the Wild Things, I would sing to her, and she responds to sound. And so my voice would sing, and the song was from a book that I had finished called Crossing Map. The book is kind of like almost a science fiction. An artist who travels in time. From that point of time in the future, she looks back, and she looks back at this world, and what she sees is not a very happy sight, you know. So it's a great lament. So I was singing this lament, and Lady of the Wild Things was responding. The Woman of War came 3 years later, and I had the sound, the melody, and the words.
I've been armored by your love. My house is your arsenal. My body, your defense. I've been armored by your love.
So then I realized, took me a while, but I realized that this was the song of a sculpture.
As titanium.
She's a kind of light, dark creature who is warning. She's warning. That's what she's doing all the time. And there's a sound that goes like, something like that, right the way through the whole song. And what it is was my word, look, which is what she says, look, I am the image of woman, look. And it's always there, look, 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 because it's a warning. I think of the relationship of science and mythology as a natural one, because science is the myth of our time. Mythological stories still stay within our imagination. They create our imaginary world.